Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. Today's episode is part 2 of a 3-part series. Last week, I walked you through a series of reflection questions to guide you through looking back on your business so that we can begin to look forward. So today's episode is the next step. After reflecting, we are going to start to cast a vision for 2025 or for the coming year or coming quarter that you are looking forward to. So regardless of when you're listening to this episode, these questions can be applied. I love a quarterly check-in. At the end of each quarter, I like to take a couple of days and just make sure that everything is staying on track with my business, that I am serving my customers well, that everything still feels in alignment with what I stand for. Sometimes I find that it's time to adjust a little bit to serve my family better or to serve my customers better or to make sure that I am taking care of myself. So these episodes are being shared in January of 2025, which of course is a great season for reflection and vision casting and goal setting. But these questions can apply any time of the year. So regardless of when you're listening, this is a great opportunity to check in with your business and have a moment to set some intentions and cast a vision and then set some goals. So, like the last episode, this episode is going to be a lot of reflection. I'm just going to ask you a lot of questions. These will all be on the episode website. So, carolinebauer.com/episode 51 is where you can go to find all of these questions written down. But you can also just sit down and pause me now and then and journal and skip over the questions that don't feel like they serve you. But for the most part, they're pretty strategically chosen and kind of build on each other. So unless if there's one that's just completely irrelevant, I do suggest at least spending a little bit of time thinking about each question that I'm asking. With all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're exploring what's possible for your bakery in 2025 or in the coming season. So vision casting isn't about lofty dreams, and your dreams do not have to be to open a commercial bakery, but it's about creating a clear, inspiring picture of the future that you want to build. That is really, really important, that it is the future that serves you and not what you see on Instagram or what you think you should be building. It's really easy to start comparing and thinking that because one Instagram creator is baking 100 loaves a week, that is what you should aspire to. But if that is not what's serving your family and 30 loaves a week is a sweet spot for you right now, that is totally okay. But the goal of these episodes and these exercises is to help you just get clarity and really identify what is the right size and what serves you best. All right, with all that said, let's go ahead and dive in and dream big for your microbakery. We are going to start with the big picture vision. So imagine it is December 2025, or it is a year from whenever you're listening to this episode, and your bakery has had its best year yet. So, what does your life look like because of your business success? What's changed for your family, for your customers, for your community? Just think about that. Let that be as open ended as you want it to be. What does your life look like because of your business success? And what has changed? What's changed for your family? What's changed for your customers or for your community? What's one milestone that would make you feel like this was the year that everything clicked? And how would reaching it transform your bakery and your life? What's one milestone that would make you feel like this was the year that everything clicked? And how would reaching it transform your bakery and your life? Would it be a revenue milestone? Would it be paying off the student loan debt? Would it be paying for a cruise for your family in December? What is one milestone that would feel like this is the year everything clicked? Next question is this. If you could choose 3 words to define your business in 2025, what would they be and why? 3 words to define the way your business will look in the coming year. What would they be and why? This might be a question that you want to revisit after the end of the rest of these reflection questions if it doesn't come immediately to mind. But you may have 3 words in mind already. And here's a slight side note, but this is fluid. This can be a living document as you are reflecting on all of these. You are not setting anything in stone. You are not committing yourself to any hard and fast agreements here. By reflecting and asking yourself these questions, this is just an opportunity to put something down on paper with some structure and give yourself some vision. But don't get in your head too much about it and start overthinking and become overwhelmed. If the question doesn't serve you, you can go ahead and skip it or just spend as much or as little time as you need to on it. All right, next question is this. Thinking about personal alignment. How do you want your bakery to support your life, not just financially, but emotionally and physically? Does it give you flexibility, connection, creativity? How is it supporting you? It's not just your job, but how is it life giving for you too? If your customers could describe the heart of your business, what would you want them to say? What values or experiences do you want your bakery to reflect? So, if you went and polled your customers, we talked about this just a little bit in the previous episode, but if you ask your customers to describe the heart of your business, to describe what comes to mind when they think of your business or what drives your business, what would you want them to say? Not necessarily what they say, but what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to experience when they are interacting with your business? The next question is, what would balance look like for you as a baker and a person? And what would you need to shift to achieve that? Balance is a word that I tend to use very sparingly because I don't truly believe that we ever achieve balance where it's 50% life, 50% work, or whatever that is. But I do think we can find a healthy rhythm where life and work are both supported in a really healthy way. And so that's the heart behind this question. Not necessarily what would balance look like if you are 50% in the bakery and 50% with your family. It's never 50-50. But what would a healthy rhythm, a healthy balance look like for you as a baker and as a holistic person? You may revisit some of your reflection questions from the last episode to think about this too when you ask, what would you need to shift to achieve that balanced vision? Because again, we are casting a vision for moving forward. What would you like the coming season to look like? The next couple of questions we're going to think about our ideal day and workflow. So the first question is this: describe your dream workday. How many hours are you baking? What time are you waking up? How much time do you spend on marketing, admin, connecting with customers? Does your dream workday include a 30-minute coffee chat with a friend or sitting down and sipping your coffee with your husband slowly? Does it look like balancing homeschooling your children amidst your work responsibilities? What does your dream workday look like if you could just paint the brush however you wanted to? Your dream workday may not be fully doable, but this reflection exercise can at least help you identify the way that you would structure that life if you could just make any choice at all. So, the follow up question to that is, what tasks or routines would you let go of in 2025 if you could? And what would you focus on instead? What tasks or routines would you let go of in 2025 if you could? And what would you focus on instead? Would you let go of all of the packaging or the printing of the labels? Is that something that you could delegate so that you are freed up to focus on recipe development or connecting with customers? Would you let go of laundry? Is that something that you can delegate to a kid who's getting older? Or sometimes the service is, it's worth it to hire out a service here and there. Maybe you don't drive to Costco every week to pick up your flour, but you invest a little bit more to have it delivered. Would the extra financial investment be worth it for the time that you would get back? The next question is, what's one thing you wish you had more of in your daily bakery life? Is that time? Is that help? Is that joy? Is it organization? Is it systems? What do you wish you had more of in your bakery life? And how could you create that? So this is a really practical question, and this is one of the ones that's really important not to skip. How could you create more of that thing that you need more of in your daily bakery life? The next question is getting a little bit more of a big picture here. So let's think about your legacy and your impact. What difference do you want your bakery to make in your customers' lives? How do you want them to feel when they eat your bread or when they interact with your brand? What difference do you want your bakery to make in your customers' lives? And next, how can your bakery contribute to your community in a way that aligns with your values? Through partnerships, through donations, through connections. How can your bakery contribute to your community in a way that aligns with your values? So these are the vision casting questions. And when you look at all of this as a whole, the idea is for you to see the potential for your business, the way that it can impact your own life, the way that you could adjust to serve you and your household better, but also to have a wider and more impactful reach in your community as well. So the final question is this: what part of this vision excites you the most? And what makes you feel a little nervous? And why is that a good sign? Because sometimes those butterflies and that fear that maybe you're pushing outside of your comfort zone is a sign that you are headed in the right direction and you're going to grow in great ways in the coming season. But you're going to have to push yourself a little bit. You're going to have to need a support system and you're going to need accountability. And to move forward in accomplishing that vision that you have just begun to articulate, um, it's going to push you a little bit. So, that final question, I'm going to read it one more time. What part of this vision excites you the most? And what makes you feel a little bit nervous? And why is that a good sign? All right, that is the end of the questions for the vision casting episode. If you are feeling a little butterfly, a little excited, nervous about what the year could look like, and you know that you do need that support system, I've mentioned it a handful of times, but the Breadwinner Inner Circle is reopening very soon. So the wait list is open down below and the doors will open for enrollment in just a couple of weeks. I'll be sharing in my email and firstly sharing to those of you who are on that wait list. So look for an email if you are interested in growing in community. This is a 12-week group coaching program where we come together on a video call once a week and we work through the 6 pillars that I've identified that are crucial to build a thriving burnout-proof business. If that sounds like something that would serve you as you move forward with your 2025 vision and then begin to implement the goals that we are going to talk about in the next episode of this 3-part series, the Breadwinner Inner Circle could help you take the next step toward those goals. And I'm so excited for you. As always, if something resonated with you in this episode, if you learned something, if you're inspired, I would love it if you took a screenshot and shared it with me on Instagram. When I'm able to, I love to reshare those posts. Sometimes I don't catch them in time, but I always try to share them so that we can all see that we're listening and growing together. And if you're not following the show already, whether you're listening on a podcast platform or watching on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. They drop every Monday and Thursday, and they are always filled with insights to grow a thriving sourdough microbakery business. I will be back very soon with another episode, but until then, happy baking.